stick to it. Every once in a while I get caught on rabbit trails. All right, our last message for 2006 is, I almost finished well in the Lord. When you hear the word almost, what comes to your mind? Not quite. You almost did it, but you didn't quite do it. How many of you got some almostes in your life? Is there anybody here who in January you decided you was going to do this project in the year 2006 and you got started on it, and here we are, we've run out of time and you don't have that project done? Maybe it was because you got busy, something else might have distracted you, or you found something else that you wanted to do instead. Now, we don't usually measure things by how well you started. We want to know, how did you finish it? We don't really want to know how the first quarter was, because it's the fourth quarter that makes all the difference in the world. Now, if I were to ask you, how did you finish the year spiritually in 2006, what would your response be? Can you say that you are closer to the Lord on December 31st than you were on January 1st? Now, we've had a lot of things happen to us during the year 2006. And one thing for certain is, there is not a single person here today who is the exact same person on December 31st as they were on January 1st. The only question is, are we better or are we worse? Did we move in this direction or did we move in that direction? Now, if you are anything like me, you can see some areas of growth in your life, and you can see some areas of backsliding in your life. Were there any backsliders in 2006? You may as well confess it. God knows what you were. I can confess that I can see areas of backsliding when I look back in 2006. Because I don't believe I was as good of a husband on December 31st, 2006 as I was January 1st, 2006. And I credit part of that to not having men who excel. You see, when I knew I was going to have to give an account each month to a group of men of what my behavior had been, I did a lot more of the little things that I ought to have been doing than when nobody was going to ask me about them. I found myself becoming a little bit more inflexible. I found myself being more tempted to say, well, this is how I am, when God is saying, yeah, I know that's how you are, but that ain't what I want you to keep on being. Now, also in 2006, I can see that I did more activities for the Lord than ever before, yet I did some of them at the expense of spending time in God's presence and growing closer to the Lord. I was so busy wanting to build a great ministry for the Lord and comparing our church to other church that sometimes I neglected to build that close, intimate relationship with God, which is what we are to be about as Christians. You see, when we almost finished something well in the Lord, it meant something somehow got out of whack spiritually. There was some defect somewhere in our character. And I want us to know that God is far more concerned with our character than He is our blessings, our answer to prayers, or anything else. Now, I've confessed some of my faults here. What about you in 2006? What areas did you almost make it? Let me ask you this. Did you improve your attitude in 2006? Would people say you are kinder today in December than you were in January? Would your family say you were more loving at home? Let me ask you this. Did you change your language so that the words that came out of your mouth were more Christ-like? Let me ask you this. Did you add some TV programs or some music to your life that previously you would have said, no, that's not for me, because that's not what God would have me be a part of? All the times you came up here for prayer in 2006 asking for a change, did you allow God to work that change in your life? Or did you walk out of here and immediately say, I'm in charge of my life and I'm going to do what it is I want to do? Can you see areas that you compromised in 2006? Do you know what the gray areas are of your life? Are you somewhere in your spiritual journey where you don't belong? You're at some places, you're not doing anything wrong there yet. Say yet. Yeah. You're not doing anything wrong there yet, but you know it's not a great witness or testimony for the Lord. You see, the way sin affects us, sin does not immediately just turn us from black to white. It's usually a slow, gradual process. You know, in the summertime, you can always tell which ones of us have been in the sun and which one haven't been in the sun. You don't just walk out there one day and all of a sudden, bingo, you came in touche. But one day you move your watch and you're like, grand day in the morning, how did I become this other color? Now, this past week, some of our kids were out there changing the sign, and the wind blew, and the sign just destroyed itself. And Reverend Lawal and I, we went and bought some plexiglass, and we fixed the sign. And when we fixed the sign, I looked at the sign, and I said, wow, what's wrong with that? And I went and I looked at the other side of the sign, and I said, oh, my God. When you go outside today, look at the sign on this side, look at the sign on that side. Pastor Kelly, when she drove up today, she said she looked at the sign and said, now Pastor Rick told me not to put any letters up there because the wind is going to blow them all away. The glass is so clear, it looks like nothing is there. But on the other side, where the sun has had 15 years to slowly do its work, all this time I thought that sign looked normal. Just go around it once and you'll see, whoa, that's kind of what sin does. It doesn't change us all at once. We just change a little bit and we get comfortable over here, and we change a little bit more and we get comfortable over here, and we still think we just as close to God as we were, and God is way over there saying, would you come back, come? I want you to meet a young man by the name of Jeroboam. Jeroboam was a young man who grew up in a single-parent family because his father had died. Mother raised him as a widow. And Jeroboam was a person who had a reputation for getting the job done. He knew how to finish things. And he did it so well that the king, King Solomon, got him to put him in charge of the labor force in the government. And Jeroboam just kept rising. Now, King Solomon was a king who started out well. He started his kingdomship well. God says, what is it that you want? Anything in the world you can have. And Solomon said, I want wisdom to know how to rule your kingdom. Okay, he started out well, but somewhere along the line...
Hi, thank you for watching our video. If you'd like to watch this message in its entirety, please visit us at our website, www.glenvillenewlife.com. And thanks again for watching.